I'm excited. All right, we're live. Let's get some people in here.
What's up?
I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on here and share it too as soon as I see you live. There it is.
All right, cool. And let me see. I'm gonna pull up my Facebook on my desktop here. Everybody share this once they get in here. I'm gonna go to my personal page. Excuse me, why?
All
That was
right, I put it currently live on my personal page, and I'll go over to Raven Hills and do it there too.
sweet. That is awesome. All
So,
right, let's see. How's everybody doing? We got one person watching. We need at least 10 people watching. If
all right.
we get 10 people watching, that'd be awesome. But being as this is
Wow.
episode 72, if we get more than 10 people watching, that's even more excellent.
I bet you we can get some.
In which the ones that's here, they're the ones that's here to hear the message. They'll be the ones that's supposed to be here.
Oh, for sure.
And let's see here. Well, we had one viewer and they left. That's kind of normal. People tune in for like a second or two. If they don't find it interesting, they leave. Never fails.
It's all right. We'll get some. I'm posting now, so
All right, cool. Save. All right, so. Never fails. Whoa, that's loud. Mute it, mute it, mute it, mute it. There we go. All right, I just got the notification. Ravenhill mentioned in a post. Appreciate that.
yeah, no problem, bro.
All right, so let me post the Facebook page right here. I've got it scrolling on the ticker there. And
All
let's
right.
see. Let's see. CIFTON. CHRIST. RAVEN. HILL. Topic is, what does FOR like their Facebook here? Paste. There we go. And there's that. All right, so there's that on the
Awesome.
screen.
That's great.
So everybody be sure when this live is over, go like their Facebook. Or if you got two devices, you can like the Facebook while we're live.
Oh man, you'd be
Uh,
fancy.
yeah, it'd be fancy. And we're live in three places. We're live on Quake Radio's YouTube, my personal page, and Coon Hunters Outdoors Ministries.
Yeah, can
And
you sorry, are you able to tag Ravenhill and will that allow us to be live on there too? Are you able to do that right now?
no, I wish.
Okay.
Like for instance, if I wasn't using StreamYard and I went through Facebook and you came up as a guest from the Ravenhill page, then it would show
Right.
there that we're live. But the only way StreamYard works that way is when you share it to the page and they'll see it. I wish StreamYard
Well,
had that option.
I did share it to our page, I believe so.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, and maybe next time I'm on here, we'll do it again, and I'll maybe we can do a live on Facebook like 15 minutes before we come on here, or live on Instagram where we both come
Sure.
on both of our pages and we say, hey, in the comments or in my
Yeah.
bio, they can click on a link and then go straight to wherever
Hey,
StreamYard is.
Bradley. Bradley says, "What's going on, gentlemen?"
What's going on, Bradley?
Good to see Bradley McIntosh in here. That's my
Yeah, I see
friend.
that.
So,
That's great.
all right. So, Quake stands for those that don't know. Sorry, my throat's messed up from what I ate, but Quake stands for King Without a Crown Every Day with a K, which is cool. So we're live on
Yeah,
their YouTube and which helps. So if you're watching
that's
from
great.
YouTube, howdy YouTube watchers.
What's up,
Um,
YouTube?
so tell everybody who you are about your record label, your band, your podcast, your band.
Yeah, I'll give you kind of a brief history, but it might not seem so brief since I've kind of got a lot of things going on, if that's okay. And interrupt me any way you want to ask questions or you would
Sure.
like to divert. My name's Joshua Clifton. I was born in Texas. I currently live in Texas, but I came back, is what my mom would say, to the promised land. Um, but we moved to Illinois when I was young. I was a uh, a child to a pastor and an evangelist. My mom too, being that she is a missionary at heart, and we get did some. Uh, my dad came up to Illinois to be a pastor, and we ended up getting involved in the worship team and leadership there and everything, and kind of always loved performing and uh, singing and all that, and whether that was in elementary school or in church or whatever, playing, singing or playing out skits or whatever. Carmen song we were turning into a skit so we could do it in front of our church. And I was always kind of typecast as the Jesus character or whatever. And my buddy, we always joked that he was always typecast as the devil, and it was just real funny. I kind of got the bug there. I always loved oldies music and Motown and soul music, and so my first job was at oldies radio station where I just dove into the history of rock and roll and music and learned about blues and soul and old country, and I kind of felt like I was an old soul trapped in a young dude's body, and so I started playing punk rock music, and me and some of my friends my friends went a little further than me. They were in a band called Sidewalk Slam and Run Kid Run, and they went on to be on Tooth and Nail Records and everything. And I was in a band adjacent to them. I always felt like we were always I was always kind of like with them along the ways, like learning and got to live vicariously through them in a lot of ways until I had my opportunity with the band Ravenhill to get uh, signed to a label called Slow Speak Records, which one of my heroes named Davey Basinger was running at the time, and he was in a band called Bleach and back in the day, and we moved to Nashville and started that journey with Ravenhill, and did that for about a decade, and then a pandemic hit. We kind of split ways with that record label because we were more of a touring band, and that label was focusing on licensing, and we still worked with them in licensing and everything, but we just kind of bought our songs back from them and put it I had to put it out on a label, so I came up with the record label Honey Gold Records. And Honey Gold Records basically was where we put our band stuff out, but then our other friends that are in great bands needed a label, and basically we became a community of artists that helped each other put out quality art, and so that's what Honey Gold Records is. Now, back up a few about back to like 2014 when I was living in Nashville. I started a podcast called the Youngblood Podcast, and that was because going on the road and touring with bands and of all walks of life. To be honest with you, like we spent actually Ravenhill spent more time in the non-Christian world, even though we were a band that was pretty upfront about what we believed in, and even our lyrics are pretty upfront about uh, our our viewpoint, that we are just artists trying to lift up the greatest name of all time, and that is Jesus Christ. And whether that's screaming hallelujah or what sitting in a corner crying with a brother because he's going through a divorce, or just really trying to find uh where the real rubber meets the road when it comes to loving people, and not just Christians exclusively, but the lost, and we did that, and but we still had a pretty cool run with a lot of non-Christian outlets. I guess when you sing soul, rock and roll, they let you say Lord a lot more, you know, because I don't know, everybody kind of you get away with Southern gospel a little bit in your music, and so we had some really cool opportunities working with cool companies throughout those times, and uh, I started the podcast because I kept having really cool conversations, and I thought, I think I would like to listen back to these, so why not? And I started long form podcast where it's just audio, and we'd have 2 3 hour conversations about their life. If it was a soundtrack, what art would make them the artists that we love today? And then we just the good, the bad, and ugly. We're just a big blender of influences, and I love whenever we can part and parcel that and make it see the beauty in even the times I listen to the crappiest music, man. But it still influenced me to get here. And if you ever loved Ravenhill, or if you dig it a little bit, you gotta love even that crappy journey I took during, you know, weird instrumental punk rock stuff that no one should listen to. But but then I moved to Dallas, Texas, back to Dallas, Texas. That's where I currently live, a little north of Dallas. And and I met some really cool people, really cool friends that I started creating here after I left Nashville. And I started the podcast back up, and we started believing in a video element. So now all my podcasts are on YouTube, and it's basically a TV show. And it could be like an hour long, 2 hours long, where we just sit there and we talk about uh and I don't just talk about the two musicians, and I don't just talk to Christians either. I kind of talk to artists of all walk of life, and I feel like where the rubber meets the road, like I hope my art influences them. And I think that's what we're here to talk about tonight, right? Like
Yep.
where does art become I guess what role does it play in your life? And is it a positive role? Is it a tool, or is it I mean, I know different times in my life I had music would influence me good or bad,
That's
I
right.
mean, sometimes I hear the right music and I want to be the most rebellious and fight against the government. And, I mean, and then and like Rage Against the Machine. I mean, sometimes I could be in that headspace, and sometimes I could be in that headspace and the right song come on, and all of a sudden uh, I'm at peace. That peace that surpasses all understanding hits me in a moment when I should be losing my ever loving mind.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love the let's see. I love the name Honey Gold Records. That's cool. And and I love the B logo. It's pretty cool. And then
Thanks.
the name Ravenhill. So where's the name Ravenhill come from?
Can I ask you where you think it came from? Because people sometimes have uh they've had three three common ones. I want to know where you land.
Hey Aaron, how you doing? That's
Let's see. I'm
thanks
gonna
for tuning in, Aaron.
Aaron Kyles. What's up, dude?
Yeah, he is AK the Christian rapper. So we got a Christian rapper in the building. He's been on my show a few
Ah,
times.
nice. I'll look his stuff up. That's great.
Yeah, his new video called Section 8 is where
Yeah,
it's at. All
cool. I can't wait.
right, so let's see, where do I think Ravenhill comes from?
The name Ravenhill.
Uh, is there a town called Ravenhill where there's a bunch of ravens on a hill?
No, but you're kind of on one of the most common things is where it's kind of like a gothic name, Ravenhill.
Yeah,
Like
kind of like a movie, like a
has
scary
that,
movie.
yeah, which really wasn't where it came from. The most common one we get is that we are Lord of the Rings fans, and in The Hobbit there is, well, in the whole lore of Lord of the Rings, there's a town called Ravenhill. There's actually a battle of Ravenhill, is what it's called. But
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I love the
yeah,
Lord of the Rings. Okay.
yeah. So, and that's where we probably should, I would say that'd be the cool thing to say that we got it from. But the other ones, the honest one is actually probably the reason I have to say it. And it was because I felt convicted about doing it. Ravenhill, well, there was a man named Leonard Ravenhill, and he was an evangelist. And he was the evangelist, man. Like he was like, uh, I mean, when he spoke, it felt like walls were shaking. The Holy Spirit was on
Ooh.
his voice. He was one of those guys. And my father, as a pastor, he loved those kind of I don't know, those Southern Baptist or those revival type preachers, and he was kind of one of those too. So that would make sense. It'd be like me wanting to listen to like the greatest singers of all time, like me wanting to listen to like Axl Rose or
Oh,
Freddie
yeah.
Mercury and like go like, oh man, they were amazing. I think whenever he would hear like Ravenhill, Leonard Ravenhill do his sermon called Why Revival Tarries, I think it made him feel the same way feel when I hear November Rain.
That's
I think
awesome.
I think the art is the same. I think whenever God said even the rocks will cry out, like even the rocks are crying. I think he was kind of saying like even those that don't know they're doing rock for the wrong reasons will cry out. Sometimes great art just mimics how great God is. Even even someone like me, a donkey, an ass, he uses a jackass all the time. Like can make good art if we just tap into the greatest artist of all time. I mean, the same guy that made the Rocky Mountains made me, and wants to make things through me. And
That's awesome.
so I think that is where art needs to go, and it's not always pretty. It's not always like Passion of the Christ is a great movie, right? Have you seen
Right.
that? Like, I mean, like that's
Yes.
very, very real depiction, I think, of what it could have been like. And I bet you it wasn't even as true as it. I mean, like I think it was probably more brutal, is the point I'm trying to make, than what he was able to show. And if that's the truth, I mean, like great art has to be dirty sometimes, I think. And so I think in our songs we try to be as honest with the dangers of living a life that is frivolous, that you don't think your words and your actions mean anything, that people don't mean anything. It's become too commonplace to just say I hate people. And if I posted on Facebook I hate people. Some people, I think we get a lot of likes, and that sucks. That sucks if that's okay. I mean, that's the okay mindset. Man, every single person out there is valuable and their mindset's valuable. And we're supposed, I just don't want to get complacent in the idea that our art doesn't need to reach everyone. Like I want to reach every hurting soul that it wants to come into that door. And no matter what they look like, because art's supposed to build community and character and culture. And I'm sorry, I'm talking way too much. I just get excited
That's all
about
right.
this, man.
Yeah, Logan says, "What's up, baby?"
Oh, we got Gabaldon in the house. That's our
Yep.
drummer.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
What up,
he's
Gabaldon?
also he also just got married, so to his beautiful wife Miranda,
Uh, that's
and
awesome.
so congratulations. And he he is the genius behind the Youngblood podcast finally figuring out the video aspect. Like he is such if you need anything video from that guy, hire that guy. That guy knows what he's doing.
That's awesome. In other words, he's so good he can do it backwards blindfolded.
Yeah, he has.
If I ever see somebody do something backwards blindfolded, you best believe I'm going to shake their hand and buy them a steak
Yeah,
dinner because that's
yeah.
impressive.
Well, I owe Logan a couple steak dinners, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm looking at the comments. I want to I don't want to miss anyone. I realized that people were commenting on there. See.
and if anybody, we love people's feedback. I like it when people talk back and forth because it
Yeah.
gets boring when nobody asks questions, nobody talks back and forth. I love comments.
Yeah.
I think it's great when people, especially on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching from, you comment, let us know what you think.
Yeah, Logan or Kalen or anybody that's watching from the band, if you want to go and share it on Instagram, go for it if you can.
So Aaron says he's got a question. He says, "You on a record label?"
I own own is such a funny word when you say that. I mean, I said, "Let's start a record label." And and some other friends in a room go, "All right." And then and we came up with a name. I always thought Honey Gold Records was I thought Honey Gold Records sounded cool. I thought it sounded timeless. And I thought it was interesting to make people say gold records like those really matter anymore. Um, but so we work with people we believe in, and Honey Gold Records is very easy to get it to work with. You just have to reach out to us. We have to start working together somehow. That has to make sense, and we gotta understand that we don't have all the answers. We clearly don't. Mostly, you're getting a lot of guys that did a lot of things, and in some areas we had some success. In some areas, we probably should have done other things, and wish we would have had the know-how that we now know to at least circumvent that and maybe try something different. So, so a lot of times working with Honey Gold Records means you just have some really good friends that have done some stuff that might know a few things.
I tell you what,
And
Aaron, you need to
yeah, hit us
reach
up.
out to them because Aaron's been doing Christian rap music for a little while now, and
Yeah.
that's the man you need to reach out to.
That's great. I mean, and we don't. I'll be honest with you guys. We don't exclusively work with just Christian bands either, because we do think that there is some influence there in trying to change the way the world looks at Christians, and meeting people where they're at, um, even if it doesn't necessarily line up with me ideologically. But I think Christian rap. I'm looking at your question. I think Christian rap's awesome. I think, to me, I just think it should be rap, and I think it should be the best rap, and it just so happens to glorify the name of Jesus. I think that's what it should be, um, and I love it. I love it. Yeah, email me at josh@honeygoldrecords.com, or any Honey Gold Records, any of our social medias. One of us will get it. There's like five of us. that run it, and we work together. Sometimes we have seasons where we work a lot. We have seasons like we're just now getting off a season where we've done very little. A lot of it's been behind the scenes. I haven't even put out a new episode of the podcast in several months, but we will, and we're trying some new things. Ravenhill is about to put out a full length record, and
I'm excited.
yeah, well, we had a EP out and before the pandemic, and it was like it was going to be a two-parter, and we just realized during the pandemic we could just put out a full record. So we're about to put that out, and you have two of the songs that
Yes.
are on that. So the email is, and I'll try to put it in the later on, and I'll pin it in the comments. But
I'll type it in. What's their email?
it's just Josh Josh at and then honeygoldrecords.com.
Josh at Honey Gold Records. RECORDS.com.
Sounds great, man. I mean, I can't wait to hear your stuff. What would you say it's what's the influence when you hear Aaron's rap?
Well, when I hear his rap, like he's got a song called Picture that's pretty good. Section
Hmm.
8's really good. I'm trying to think of the one that uh he's got a song called They Not Like Us, kinda. And yeah.
I think that Kendrick Lamar might have put out the best record last year. So, I mean, at least that song's great. So I mean, that's what. See, I mean, you have to recognize good art, and I think if he's got Kendrick Fire, I'm ready for it, man.
Oh, look, this guy. So I listen to a lot of music. A lot of music. Now
Yeah,
I listen to country rap. I listen
yeah.
to hip hop,
Can I ask you real quick,
southern rock.
timeout, just because I gotta
Yes.
ask, when you say country rap, can you name a few of your favorites?
The Georgia Boys. I've been listening to them since 2011, 2012. Um, I love them because they're clean. They don't have cussing in their music. Let's see who else. Oh shoot, I'm trying to think. Cypress Spring. Shout out to Kalen Miller, is the lead singer of Cypress Spring.
Uh-huh.
They used to be on the other side, and then Kalen and the guys got the most of the original band broke up, and Kalen still kept the band name, and then him and oh shoot, trying to think of the other one's name. Anyways, they got saved and they turned their life around. So now it's basically rednecks rapping about Jesus, and which is cool. And I I used to listen to Moccasin Creek all the time, and I still listen to some of
Mhm.
their stuff, but some of their stuff's not clean. So I try
You
to.
ever heard of a guy named Big Smo?
Yes, I love that guy's cool, man.
You want me to tell you something that's gonna blow your mind then?
Yes.
I used to play guitar and tour with him.
Really, because
Yeah.
I've been listening to this genre since 2010 when it got started, when it officially got started. I know every rapper is gonna say, "No, Bone Thugs did it," or this
Yeah.
artist did it." That but really it was around 2010 was when it officially 2009. But that is cool. I
Uh-huh.
did not know that.
Yeah, so Ravenhill's one of Ravenhill's older drummers, Keith Schaubert. And the only reason I mean, the real reason he's not in the band anymore is because most of us um went to moved to Nash or Dallas from Nashville, and he was still up in Nashville. Um
Wow.
and but Keith Schaubert was his drummer. Keith Schaubert is also was, I don't even know if he still does it anymore. But he was um Billy Ray Cyrus's sound guy, and he would play drums for several other artists in Nashville when he
Wow.
lived there. And so he would do he asked me to play guitar for Big Smo and be a backup singer touring wise. So this was right whenever he came out with Colorado, or what is it called? I don't know if you listened to it. It's about, and look, this is, I hope this shows you a little bit of my journey because it's not been a very, um, I don't know. Normally you think if you're a Christian, you're going to live this, I think a misconception that I had when I was younger is that I wasn't going to be around a lot of things that made me think, huh, it's weird that I'm here. But it sure was. I had plenty of those moments whenever I was like, huh, it's interesting I'm here at this moment. And one of them is the fact that I was on tour with Big Smo while he was promoting Colorado Bound. That was the single. And he had done a song with Afro Man. You
Oh,
remember that
cool.
song?
Oh,
And
I probably do.
and and it was about hopping on a plane from Nashville, Tennessee, and going to Colorado because Smo was a weed smoker, and that whole thing was that. And found I my first time taking a job like this was like, okay, we're gonna go on tour. I'm gonna be a guitarist for this country rapper I've never met, and I did some research on his show on his TV show that he had, and it was just a funny journey that I found myself doing shows and at dispensaries, and here I am, a guy that just was never a part of that world, never a part
Wow.
of any of that, and having to like really navigate figuring out what do you do as a believer in this situation? How do you
Yeah,
it's kind
but
of
that was
it's kind
hard.
of convoluted, and honestly, he was him and his crew, nicest people, respectful, never once made me feel like an odd guy out, never made me feel like I had to do anything, never. I think they probably all offered it once, and I said, "Nah, just don't do that." And I didn't really judge them on doing it either. That's their lifestyle, And I hope I am that, kind of like what you said in the bio earlier, is I want to be that light in a dark place, and and whatever that means. And that doesn't even mean that I really think that is such a horrible thing that is like that. I think it ruins some people's lives, and I think it's something that is much more of an understanding thing than a right or wrong thing. But for me at that time, it was pretty easy to just go, no, it's not for me. And
That's awesome.
and and I think I'd like to think that that was part of the respecting people where they're at, but and getting that mutual respect. It helped a lot that that was getting that mutual respect because it could have been very different. It could have been I felt ostracized and everything, but they weren't. They were cool because
That is
I think they
awesome.
were cool because I was cool about it, and that's probably and I'd like to
Good.
think that that's
I've never
whenever
met
it really
him.
rubber hits the road.
I've never met him, but I've always heard he's a super good guy. I tell you how long I've been listening to his
So
music.
good.
I can remember in 2010, 2009, 2010, when all this genre got started. I can remember he had a band called Kinfolk,
Yeah.
Kinfolk,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah, you did.
and it was him and the guitarist was Charlie Bonnet III, and they had a song and video. I can't remember the name of it, but it put them on the map. Well,
Yeah.
then there was a group I listened to called the Double Wide Boys, which
Yeah.
was Jeff McCool of Moxon Creek and then Jackie Bottleneck Strickland. Well, they ended up breaking up like a year later, and then Kinfolk broke up. Well, when Kinfolk broke up, Jackie Strickland went to go do solo, and then Big Smo went to go do solo, and then Charlie Bonnet started Moxon Creek with Jeff McCool there. They ended up breaking up, but Moxon Creek's still doing their thing. But yeah, Big Smo, he's been in this a long time, and
Oh yeah, dude.
before he lost a lot of weight. He used to be really
Yeah.
huge, and he's a testimony how you can
Well,
lose a lot of weight.
SB really his wife. they had just started dating when I joined the band, or they had been dating, but they hadn't gotten married. I don't know exactly how long they'd been dating. But they they had gotten married while I was on tour with them. Like one of the off weeks that we had, we got back on tour, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, they're like we got married," and
That's
I was like,
awesome.
"Oh, that's wild." But she I think she figured out. I see. For me, when comes to losing weight, I used to be 80 pounds heavier than I am now. Um, During the pandemic, after I stopped touring full time, and I was able to like get a healthy sleep rhythm and good diet, I actually lost 80 pounds during the right at the beginning of the
Wow.
pandemic. So like for that next 6 months, I used the pandemic to get the healthiest I've ever been, and it made
Wow.
me it made me look younger, feel younger. I feel better than I've ever felt. Than like it's crazy. I've been in Ravenhill 10 years, and I feel like I could do more now. Just unfortunately, I have a family and other responsibilities that I don't get to do it near as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
But
Wow, that's awesome. Because I used to. It wasn't until like 3 or 4 years ago that I was so overweight that
uh-huh,
and I found out I had type 2 diabetes.
yeah,
And it's horrible, but then I found out, I said, well, this is the kind you can beat. And then then my doctor says, well, you don't beat it, you just manage it. I don't know. I don't know much about that stuff, but I do know
uh-huh,
that it caused me to it was God basically slapping me, said, hey homie, you need to slow your roll. You done got too
yeah,
big. And I was 252 pounds, and you can see it in one of my pictures from
uh-huh.
2 years ago. I look scary looking in that picture. I look fat. I was like, golly, man, this is horrible. I went from 252, and the last time I weighed on the scale, I was at 213.
Nice, dude. Way to go.
and and it's a blessing from God. I got my A1C down. I'm thankful I'm not like some people where they have to where their diabetes is type 1. That's the one you have the rest of your life, and you have
I
to check
actually
yourself all the time.
I actually have a son that's type 1 diabetic.
Really?
So,
Oh,
yeah.
I
So
can't imagine. That's got to be rough.
yeah, he's our youngest son, and his name's Xavier, and he's 4 years old. And we found out he was type 1 diabetic. He almost died actually. And
Ooh.
it's by the grace of God. I mean, it was nothing more than God that, and I'll tell you that just because it's how can you not tell a story? We had
Sure.
just gotten through the pandemic. It was like where everybody, I mean, Texas was kind of over the pandemic, I think, earlier than most people. But where are you at geographically, real quick? Are
So
you in Arkansas?
I'm in South Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. Alabama.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm
Great.
in the Roll Tide
Well,
state.
you get it. You get it. So they were probably over it pretty quickly there too. Um, and I felt like we had all kind of gotten to the point where it was kind of okay to start traveling again. Like, and so my brother and I were investing into we grew up, like I said, in Illinois, and my brother and I were investing into a coffee shop with our original drummer from Ravenhill, John Raby, and it's in West Frankfort, Illinois. So if you ever find yourself in Southern Illinois, any of your listeners, go by Gambit Coffee Bar, and
Awesome.
it is ran by Ravenhill family basically. So and we have shows there yearly, and they have concerts there a couple times a week, or maybe a couple times a week by this time, but a couple times a month for sure. Comedy shows, poetry shows, open mic nights. It's a great place. Anyway, we were up there, going up there to look and invest, and I had just got up to Nashville first. We had driven up to Nashville. My brother was looking at apartments there, and during the process of building that place, the coffee shop, which is only a few hours from where we were building it. And my wife, who had our 1 year old at the time, uh, felt like it was something. something was off. He was feeling lethargic and everything, and just wasn't doing great. And it was right after we had this big freeze here in Texas. They had this big ice over. We had lost power for like 4 days, and
Ooh.
so we'd have rolling blackouts. We'd only be on for 15 minutes, and then we'd be off for 45 minutes, 15 minutes, and on for 45. And we had to keep our house warm. So I was building fires and stuff like that, and keeping the family healthy. And then after we got through that, everybody was kind of sick, so we didn't really think too much of it. We just thought he was getting over stuff like we all were. But one day she just knew something was wrong, and they went to she said, "I'm taking him to the hospital." And it just happened to be the day I got to Nashville. And and she FaceTimed me, and they got him to the ER, and he was such a little guy that he was so dehydrated, and they go,
Oh.
"Yeah, he's type 1 diabetic." And she goes, "No, he's not." Um, "Yeah, he is." And that's how we found out. And
Wow.
they were in the ER. It was you could tell over the video that it was pretty tense in the room. And I honestly, if I'm gonna be real blunt with you, I thought I was gonna watch my son die on my iPad. I mean,
Wow.
like you could tell that even the doctors were nervous. And then once they got an IV in him, you could tell everyone changed. They said, "Okay, he's going to live. Now let's see
Wow.
what the damage is." And they were nervous about brain dead because because that could really affect you in that. And he came back perfectly fine. I mean, I will be honest, he was born with uh trisomy 21, so he has Down syndrome. So he had other things kind of against him. But now we have type 1 diabetes, and we've gotten kind of used to it now. I mean, we're pretty
Wow.
my wife, more than myself, is just a different kind of person. She basically became a nurse. I mean, like overnight she became someone that just knew what to do. But she had
she's
to. I
uh
mean,
she's TUFF tough.
yeah, yeah, she is. And I mean, and she's one of a kind. Yeah, she's great. And so I
That's
have four
awesome.
sons, and that's my youngest son.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, hey,
Yes.
that's a great testimony, a miracle from God that he's still
Yeah.
here, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe at the end of this, I'll go grab him. He's supposed to be in bed probably here soon, but I'll grab him. You can say hi real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deal. Hey, Jason, how you doing, Jason? Marcus is watching. Hey, Marcus. Yeah, Jason Katz is the owner of the radio station. So shout out to
Nice.
Jason.
What's up, Jason?
Jason got a huge praise report for the station today. So shout out to that.
Oh, that's great.
Uh, the Dad Music Podcast says Clifton, love you, brother.
Ah, that's a cool podcast. I was on that podcast. I was a guest on that podcast. I might have been, if I remember correctly, I was the first guest on that podcast.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Aaron says, thankfully, our God still does miracles today.
Heck yeah, dude. Hey, it's the same God today, yesterday, and forever, baby. I live that. I don't live in a world without that miraculous peace, without that miraculous love, without that agape love, because the life would be so hard without it, to be honest with you.
That's right. And you know, so the two slogans that are with our radio station is where music is therapy. I love that because it's spot on. Music is therapy. And then, but my favorite one out of the two is being a beacon of light in the darkness. Well, it's 2025. All kinds of crazy stuff is happening today in this world, especially in the United States. Just I was watching the world news today and I saw all
Uh-huh.
kinds of crap happening on the world news. Like they're trying to do a ceasefire over there in Ukraine,
Uh-huh.
and all this other stuff is happening. And one thing I can assure people is that God is still in control. He knows what's going on. And also is we need a beacon of light now more than ever. And with good music like y'all's and Aaron's there, people need to see that beacon of light because music is therapy. It gets you through stuff. Like I listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of Christian rap, Christian rock, country, but the ones I relate to the most is the Christian music. I love that. And here lately, I've been listening to a lot of anti-suicide songs just because
Mhm.
I know people that's thought about it, tried it. Um, and so like, yeah, Tony's got a good question. Does he have any original music and can play an acoustic guitar?
I do. I have a lot of original music. Most of all my music that's online under Ravenhill is I think there's only 2 cover songs on that on all the there's probably 30, 40 songs on there. But 2 there's House of the Rising Sun, maybe? I don't even think that's up anymore because that's coming out on the full-length record.
Very
And,
cool.
and then I did a song with, with the band Words, Johnny Gore from Words, and we did "Where's My Mind" by the Pixies. Do I have an
Awesome.
acoustic guitar? Is he wanting me to play here right now?
So basically, Tony has a so that's my friend Tony Viggins. That's his page, Music Crush Monday. And what he does is every Monday he has either a country artist or a Christian artist that plays acoustic guitar. They take over his page for about an hour and they play their all original music and they get their music out there and it's a good way to get new fans. And it's every Monday
Well,
night on
what was his name again? I'm sorry.
Tony Viggins.
Tony, I'd love to be a guest on it sometimes. Sometime I would be. I kind of lean in the outlaw country when I play acoustic. I kind of lean into that a little bit more because that's. I mean, Johnny Cash. My 2 favorite artists of all time are Johnny Cash and Ray Charles.
Oh,
So
cool.
I kind of land somewhere in the middle, and if somewhere in the middle, I've always felt it was probably someone like Tom Petty. So I've always felt real Tom Petty. I mean, I grew up with like the 90s angst, the all the alternative, like, unfortunately, the middle fingers in the air attitude. I kind of grew up with that punk rock attitude, even though I was very rooted in the church. So I was always kind of fighting the rebellious side of myself versus that. So musically, I was kind of always there. But man, Tom Petty could have that rebellious side to him, and but you always heard that old soul of like Ray Charles and Johnny Cash. I thought was there. So
Yeah, Aaron
um,
says, have you done anything with 7 Day Slumber?
yeah, actually, we played festivals with them. We played shows with them. We used to live in the same town as them. Uh,
So
um,
cool.
Spring
I,
Hill, Tennessee. That's where whenever we lived in Nashville and I got married. Oh, I was already married, but I went you can do original and cover stuff. So, okay, cool. Whatever you want me, man. I'll do it. Let's figure it out. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, 7 Day Summer Dudes. Some of the hardest working dudes I've seen in Christian
oh,
rock.
I'm a huge fan of theirs. I'm on their
Yeah.
street team, and
Yeah.
I've seen them 3 times in concert. I've met Joseph all 3 times,
Yeah. Yeah.
and whenever the China virus hit, um,
Hmm.
out of all these bands in the world,
Yeah.
nobody was touring. I mean, nobody. But there
Dang
were
it,
3
didn't they?
bands, 3 Christian bands, 7 Day
Disciple?
Slumber, The Protest, and Relent. All 3 of those bands
Oh,
were on
okay.
tour. The Protest opened up second, and Relent was the first one to go. And let me tell you, I met every band that they were phenomenal. Relent was awesome. The Protest was awesome. And 7 Day
You
Slumber. And it was so cool. I want to say, even the pastor, Joseph Mike can correct me on this if he sees this, but I think even the pastor mentioned how at the time there was no bands touring because the China virus had scared everybody. It just shut everybody down. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. And then God said, son. And then all these bands came out and toured and they were playing all because of God. And I was at that show that night and it was so awesome, man. I was like, Yeah, not even Eminem. None of these big name bands are touring. But you know what? Christian bands are touring.
Well, I
You
tell
know.
you what. So the protest, I just tagged them because they're good friends of mine, and Ravenhill has played with them maybe half a dozen times. Like,
Oh, that's awesome. I love
I
their
play
music.
so a long time ago. So I've been around for a long time. So most of these bands that you're mentioning, I've been around so long that and I'm like I've always been in the middle, dude. I've never been the headliner. I've been low, and then I worked myself to the middle of like a lot of festivals and a lot of things. I helped book for a long time a festival called Audio Feed, which is
Oh,
in
cool.
which took over. You remember a festival called Cornerstone Festival? Do you remember that?
No, I've heard of Audio Feed, but never heard of Cornerstone.
Well, Cornerstone used to be what was called the Christian Woodstock, and so POD and Seven Day
Oh.
Slumber and Bleach and MXPX and Blindside and Crowder and DC Talk
Oh.
and Audio Adrenaline and Toby Mac, all the big names, Newsboys, you name everybody played
Wow.
Cornerstone, and
Oh man.
35,000 people would show up in a farm in the middle of Bushnell, Illinois, and every year around Fourth of July, and they would and it would be our playground. It would be our music festival, and that's where I
Wow.
went every year until my band played the last 2 years. Ravenhill played 2011 and 2012, and
Wow.
those were our first years as bands too. Um, so that festival quit, and then the next year, Audio Feed took over. And so Audio Feed picked up the ashes of what used to be a great like Cornerstone was just this great thing, but in all reality, the the festival itself kind of the attendance kind of diminished. I know that they were having a hard time keeping numbers where they needed to be, and money and talent getting
Oh.
paid and all that stuff. Um, so Audio Feed now happens every year, and up until last year, I would help book every year and run one of the stages. Honey Gold Records was one of the main sponsors.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
we play it every year. We play that festival every year. Um, and so if you are, I should tag the audio feed community in here. I didn't even think about that because
Oh, that's a good idea.
the audio feed community is such a healthy, strong one, and it all started from and all artists that come through here, they should look up the audio feed festival. I just tagged them
Okay.
because if you're looking for a place to connect with other artists, even if it's probably too late to really get booked on it this year because they're already probably pretty booked up, but it's worth going, and I'll tell you why. If you're an artist, if you're a lover of Christian rock music, especially Christian rock music that's fringe a little bit, the Protest I think's already playing this year. I think they're planning on playing this year. Um, I try to think, but if you're one of those bands that likes like hardcore music or punk rock music or hippie Christian music or country Christian music or rap, like they have stages for all of it. Gothic Christian music, they have it all. It's not always for me, but it's there, and I love it because it's kind of a come as you are. Anyone come and you'll find a community here.
Yeah, Aaron says he hopes he gets to meet you in person one day. He's gonna send you an email.
Heck yeah, dude. Where's Aaron out of? Alabama?
He is in Illinois. He is in, I think, in Alton, Illinois.
Oh, no way. I was in Alton a couple years ago.
Wow,
I
pretty
love
cool.
Alton. I have one of my close friends, Neil Endicott, has a house in Alton still. And and it is and he was in the band Sidewalk Slam and Run Kid Run that I mentioned earlier.
Wow.
He lives in Alton, Illinois.
So I'm gonna play the two songs y'all sent. I want you to
Yeah,
tell
please
me.
do.
Let's see. All right, let me make sure I got both of them in here. Uh, You know what? One of them, I don't think one of them loaded. So let me make sure I reload it. All right, add music.
Oh,
Add
so you can play music over this.
yes.
That's
And the
amazing.
cool thing about StreamYard is it lets you save songs to the show.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one that didn't load. Okay. So I got two songs, The Shakes and Dear God.
Why don't you do the
And
shakes first, if that's okay?
sure, talk about that. What is that song about?
Ah, man, the Shakes is a show opener. I don't know how many people know. I mean, I'm sure Aaron does, but you want to get a song that hypes you up, right? At the
You're
beginning,
right.
you want something that goes, let's go, right? We're messing around. Why, some people use like tracks to do some like, and I think it's a cool way to like bum 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 bum, and then they build up. Mute lights are going and everything. For us, the Shakes is that. The
Oh,
Shakes
cool.
is a song that's like in your face rock and roll. Has a clip at the beginning. I love telling the story. My brother and I were at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, and we found this wall where they had all the people that were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I know Ravenhill will probably never be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is a bummer. But I don't know too many bands that will be, because I don't know how bands get to that clout anymore. It's so hard. Anyway, we found where Ravenhill, where our name would be if we would find it. All right. And it was somewhere by Ray Charles. I mean, I thought that was cool. I was like right there. And I took our picture where you could see our reflection, where at least we would be, you know?
Uh-huh.
Um, and then we walked around the corner and I heard the clip that is played at the top, at the front of this song. And it was this old preacher that goes, you ask everybody, every kid, something like, you ask every kid what they like about rock and roll music, and everyone will tell you it's the beat, the beat, the beat. And then it was about them getting nervous that communism was coming through rock and roll. And I just thought that was funny, because sometimes Christians can get it wrong. But and I thought, how good to show that I can be wrong too, but put something I believe at the front and go, all right, let's have fun. So that's kind of what this is. Like, it's a fun rock and roll song about how I feel confident that God has called me to be right where I'm at. And
Oh, I like
and I
that.
and sometimes I think we just need a hype song for ourselves. And this was one I wrote for myself.
I like Aaron
And
says definitely do. Hype is right.
yeah, you get it. You
I
get it.
like it. Hey, he's the Buster Rhymes of Christian rap.
There you go.
All right, so let's play this song, The Shakes.
Right
Now,
on.
if you go to, you won't be able to hear it through StreamYard, but if you pull it up on Facebook through your other browser, you'll be able to hear the song.
I'll do that. I'll mute myself here, if that's okay. That way I don't
Cool.
talk over it.
If you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about rock and roll music that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat, the beat, the beat.
It feels good when I'm bad, you know I'm never gonna get another chance, 'cause I know I've seen it before. My heart aches when she shakes, you know I'm never gonna get another break, 'cause you know I feel it inside. But you wanna know who's running the show? Well, girl, I think you might to know I'm coming for you. I said, hey, I said, oh. I said, hey, I said,
Ooh, I love this.
I'm coming for you.
That two-beat pattern is the music brought to the United States of America by the communist conspiracy to corrupt teenagers, and it's in every rock and roll number. If you talk to the average teenager,
Wow, that is awesome. That is, and the dad music says Raven straight brilliant. Aaron Kyle's with the fire emojis. So I listen to a lot of music, a lot. I mean, I cannot go without listening to music. Like I've got close to 400 CDs. I collect CDs. I have I
Make sure you send me your address. I'll send you a Ravenhill CD.
dude, deal. That is so cool.
Yeah,
Autograph it too.
yeah. I will. I will. It'll be depreciate in value the moment I put pen to paper. But I mean, all right.
So
I
I
like
listen to
vandalism.
okay, cool. I listen to so much music that, and then of course I'm the marketing director for the radio station.
Mhm.
And if you ever hear me say the phrase, "That's so fire, call the fire department," then you know it's
Yeah,
a good song. So I put
yeah.
that song in that category. That's so fire, call the fire department.
Thanks, dog. I appreciate it. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, if you like it there, one thing has been said about Ravenhill, and I can't do anything about it. And it's a big negative to me, and I can't help it, but I can't do it. That if you like us on the record, we can't do anything on the record that does our live show justice. We just can't. So
Oh, cool.
you have to see us live because apparently, and that's the only thing you hear me say a little boastful because I am confident, especially after listening to that song that's supposed to give me confidence. Like I don't know what really God has called me to do except for the next step, really. I mean, I know the general to know him and make him be known. You know, like I know to honor him in any way I shape, form, I see in that moment to be that the Holy Spirit's leading me to do. And sometimes that's, I mean, I mean, sometimes I miss that, right? But I do know that God gave me the ability to perform with passion to where people feel it. And I think he gave my brother that gift too because he's in my band. And I think it, we unlock it in other people. Some people already have it, but when we play live with people, especially the right ones, and right now we have a great band. There's something supernatural, I think, that happens. I think a long time ago. And how long do you have? I feel like I'm talking forever, and I feel like
Oh no, I
I'm
got
waiting.
no. You good as long as you want.
Can I tell you one more story about?
Yes, please
I
do.
think a turning point in Ravenhill. Now, Ravenhill has always been about community. Um, Honestly, Ravenhill started because I thought I was done doing music because I had gotten married and I had already had my first child, and I thought I've always wanted to do soul music before. Before that, I was the lead singer of an emo rock band called Forgetting Paris, and and we chased a lot of dreams in that band. I toured a lot and played a lot of cool festivals and uh, uh, got courted by major labels. And nothing ever panned out. It was always like a carrot on the string. And a lot of roads to a lot of dead end heartbreaks, and soul crushing things. There's probably a lot of to be said about running to gold instead of what really matters, probably in that story. Um, but Ravenhill started because I wanted to have uh, people around me that would push me to trying to try to magnify whatever it is that whenever you hear a song that just makes you feel whole. You talk about where music's therapy. Sometimes music will get you feeling where you picks you up whenever you have no hope. I mean, like, and sometimes a song meets you where you're at your bottom and you're most fearful, and it puts it into words that you couldn't put into words. And the therapeutic nature of it is like, that's exactly how I feel. Holy crap. How does this feel? How do those lyrics and how does this song feel how I feel? Holy mackerel. And I've had people come up to me and go like, dude, what, I mean, how did you do that? And I go, I didn't do it. Like, don't look at me. I mean, like, I feel like, I mean, like, it's like something supernatural. And so whenever we were on beginning that path and we were trying to figure out what Ravenhill was. Man, we didn't even dress as like, we didn't look like the same band. We were all in different bands and we all came together because I thought, I'm going to do Ravenhill. It'll never go anywhere. It'll never really do much more than play around my Southern Illinois town and scene, and which is great. In the Southern Illinois, if you're listening, God, you have a great scene. But but I honestly thought it wouldn't go much further than that. And then we played two shows, and we started getting asked to play these big shows for secular bands in St. Louis. And then we got asked to play the big major Christian festivals and some non-Christian college festivals. And we started
Wow.
getting courted by labels, and we got started getting courted by our songs getting put in Marvel movies and Call of Duty commercials, and we got played on MTV TV shows and stuff like that, and it was
Wow.
really really cool. But all of that didn't matter if the right people weren't in there trying to put art art first, and what that means to reflecting what we think is a beautiful God. And we were trying to build that and navigating all that stuff, and we didn't know how to do that, and we were still not getting this was before we got courted by any labels. We were at this in Robinson, Illinois. It's the opposite side of Illinois as Alton is. Okay, it's on the Indiana side. And there was a festival going on, a Christian festival going on, and the Letter Black. Do you remember that band?
Oh yeah, I love them.
The Letter Black was headlining it,
Oh,
and
cool.
some friends of ours, Icon for Hire, were playing it.
Ooh.
And then there was another band. I forget. There was another band. But the day before, we got asked to play this thing, and it was like a battle of the bands, and we had a day off, and we're like, we don't really do battle of the bands, but we heard that we were going to be like 1,000 people there, so we were like, well, yeah, let's just try to make merch money and play that show. So, and I was like, we're not going to win the battle of the bands. So we set up merch because it was all based on votes, and we knew that people had brought their friends to vote. So we just assumed we weren't going to win. Um, we were playing, Oh, we were set up merch. I remember I was reading a book. The rest of the band was just crowded around, just sitting there wasting time. And there was a guy named Otis Bailey, and he's gone on to be with the Lord already.
Ooh.
But Otis Bailey was in line with his wife, and they were getting a hot dog or something, and they he felt like God told him, "Hey, I need you to go talk to Ravenhill." And he goes, "Lord, Leonard Ravenhill has been dead for decades." And he goes, "No, there's a band here called Ravenhill, and I need you to go talk to 'em." And he goes, "Okay." And so he looked around and he found our booth. He goes, "You in Ravenhill?" I go, "Yeah, I'm in Ravenhill." And he goes, "God told me to talk to you." And I go, "Oh man." And usually this is not good. Usually it's not good. I'm just gonna be honest. Usually it's we have to we're navigating some crazy ideas. Some of them are great, just from great people just don't know how to articulate it, right? And he goes, "God told me to tell you that you're gonna win this Battle of the Bands." And I go, "Guys, listen to this. This guy is saying that we're gonna win this thing." And we had talked at length, even with our management and everything, that this was not gonna probably happen. Yeah. And he said he's not you're not only gonna win, but you're gonna learn how to play a new way tonight. And when you play tonight, when Ravenhill plays from now on, it's gonna sound like a Holy Spirit freight train.
Wow.
And it's going to make people move in ways they've never felt before. He goes, "You guys are called to be watchmen." He goes, "Hey, I keep seeing that you guys are watchmen, and you're finding the lost out there in places where most Christian bands don't get to go, and you're snatching them up." And I go, "Okay." You know what I mean? There's part of me going, "All right, all right." There's part of me going, "Dude, if we don't win this thing, I'm gonna have to explain to the guys." I had some younger guys that were not believers or young in their belief, and they were going, "Is this how it works? This, and this?" And I thought, "Oh no, I don't know," And I looked at him and I said, "Otis, I pray that you're right. That'd be great. I would love and I accept everything that God has for us." I go, "And even if for some reason we don't win, I appreciate your kind words and your encouragement." He goes, "You're gonna win."
Wow.
And I go, "Okay." And I believed him. I did believe him. I wanted to believe him. I want all the anointing, man. I mean, like, if God's gonna anoint me, come on, baby. I mean, if he's gonna give me favor, if he's gonna give me a word of knowledge, if he's gonna give me a new talent, if he's gonna give me a word of knowledge to humble me because I'm getting too ahead of myself, I need it. I want it, even if it hurts. And we played, man, and it was like we finally solidified as a band.
Wow.
We felt like what we call getting in the groove, getting in the cut. Like we became less of a band that has a set list and has this and that, and we became more of an organism up there calling out songs and just feeling the thing. It feels more like James Brown than it does something that's polished and everything. And you just feel it, baby. I just think from that moment on, have we missed it since then? Yeah. Yeah, that's a gift that, like, if we're not where we need to, if we haven't honored the gift that God has given us, we can tell when that thing's not there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
And
like what I like what Aaron says right there.
yeah, let's
Says
go for
you
what was it?
says you really encouraged me. And what you just said is awesome. How even though big doors of opportunity open up for all you guys, you still have your eyes on the main focus of your face, which is Jesus Christ. It's awesome to hear that, and it really encourages me in the same way.
Well, Aaron, I'm glad that's encouraging. Some big doors have opened. I'm not gonna tell you that like we're big successes either. I mean, like, yeah, I work 2 jobs. I do a lot of the Honey Gold record stuff. It pays for itself, but we don't make money off of it. You should know that. Ravenhill streams and stuff basically keeps most things going. I mean, like if the people want to support Ravenhill and Honey Gold Records, I mean, please just listen, share our stuff, watch our YouTube videos, do all that stuff.
Buy the
Um,
merch.
yeah, I mean, we have merch. We do have merch, and we'll have more merch coming soon this year. Um, but I will tell you, I work at a church here in Dallas part-time, and I work at a studio engineering for voiceover actors on very popular anime and stuff where I'm a producer for them. And that's what I do that part-time about, and it's fun. I I wish I could say that those big doors and opportunities that opened up, even though I'm feel very blessed to have had them, were enough to now I just ride it easy and just do it. No, it's not that. I mean, like, it's still a hustle, it's still a grind, but still worth it. I mean, like, what am I not gonna play music? What am I not gonna use this gift that God has called me to use? I mean, until He tells me that I'm done, man, I'm still fighting. You know,
That's awesome.
on my podcast with the protest, I've had the protest on my podcast several times. They were actually the first band I had a video podcast of. Um,
Wow.
and and that was episode 60 something, I think. I'll send you the link. I think you'd dig it. But
Yeah.
I told them on that podcast, I was like, I'll just like them, Ravenhill or Josh Clifton or whatever, we'll just be playing music and doing it. And one day I'll wake up in heaven and I'll go, did I make it? I don't know. Like I'll just keep making music. I mean, what is it? What is it that people go, the band's gonna make it? I don't know what that means. I mean, I feel fun. I feel like I have fun, and I don't feel guilty about about, I guess, how I use the gift that God gave me. I actually see the benefits and how those are helping now. Am I tweaking to be better? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, but there's no difference between my life and my spiritual life. It's just life. It's just life. And I'm trying to be the spiritual in people's life. Let's see. Well, I didn't mean anything financially. I just meant even, yeah, for sure. When certain opportunities were presented that you still held your faith, I appreciate that and didn't compromise. Sometimes it's hard to not compromise. When you try to get to a certain place and you have experienced that myself, I have experienced that myself, and that why I say I'm very appreciative of your words because it helps me keep my focus on Christ, even yeah, I'm gonna tell you, dude. I really do think money has never really been the goal, and I think that matters. Now, doesn't mean because that means the art came first, right? That's a it's a really neat thing to say, but when you have a family and stuff, you start wondering it'd be cool if the art also paid for for the rising cost of groceries. But that being said, man, I would encourage you to always, it sounds like what's what you're doing, always be yourself. I mean, like God has called you to be, figure out who that is. And it sounds like you might have. Uh, Figure out who that is and then go be the best version of that for sure. Like,
Wow.
like I mean, I can't, I can't tell you that my path. Here's a good one. What's his name? There's a band called An Epic No Less, and they were on BEC Records, Tooth and Nail Records. They were friends of ours. Actually, my buddy that lives in Alton was in An Epic No Less. That's awesome. So
Wow.
your neighbor was in a band called An Epic No Less, and I called the drummer of that band, and I said, "Hey, we're talking to Tooth and Nail Records. What would you going into those meetings, record contract meetings? What would you want to know now that you didn't know? Or what do you know now that you didn't know then that you wish you had known? And he gave me some really good advice. And the first thing he said was, regardless of what I tell you, this was my journey, and that doesn't have to be your journey. You can have a very different journey with them. And I always thought that was really cool that he prefaced that with it. That I'll give you my information, but my journey is just that. I can give you that information, but you could make something better out of it. You could do, you could still be the artist and still figure out how that could financially support you and your loved ones so you can still be that artist in the most pure form. Now, some would say the collar artist is the ultimate artist because you're struggling and making. And that's something I tell myself so I can still sleep at night and feel good about maybe the long lost Bruce Springsteen or something.
that's that's awesome. So let's go to the next song here, which
Yeah.
is "Dear God." Talk about that one.
Well, it has a stupid name because the first time I ever did the rough vocals on that, it was such we had it. It's an intense song. It's the hardest song Ravenhill has ever written and put
Wow.
out. So this will be the most about as heavy as it gets. This and Sweet Vanity, which are both on this record, are probably the heaviest ones I would say. And and there's another one called Stranger. It's pretty heavy, but I mean those three, and they're on this new record. They kind of when I was singing this, like I remember, I was breathing and I go, "Dear God," like I was like, "Dear God, help me," like I was that hard, and I think one of my friends or one of the guys in the band were like, "Dear God" or "Dear God, what are we doing here?" And we just thought that was funny.
Yeah,
So I was
that's
like,
hilarious.
let's say "Dear God" just because it means nothing. The song itself, this is one of those. I was in a Ravenhill's always felt a little homeless when it comes to where we stand because sometimes we're a little too Christian for the mainstream and we're a little not Christian enough in I guess our delivery, music delivery, Jesus per minute or whatever. That sometimes we'd be on the outskirts of that too. Okay, and those that found us in the middle, we've always been happy with them. So. Uh, and so maybe this was I wrote this song a while back, actually. The song is probably, uh, 8 years old, maybe, maybe a little younger. But, I wrote it whenever I was trying to figure out where we stand. And so the chorus says, "I get hell from the holy rollers, and I get sober at my neighborhood bar. I get strength when I find my weakness, and I get nothing from the government's dime." So it's basically me trying to say that, like, no one's going to influence me more than my God. I'm not gonna let the surrounding things and it's just a cool way it sounded cool too, a cool way to
Wow.
say it. But it was nothing it was saying, "I guess I'll give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and I'll let the surrounding world do what it's gonna do. But ultimately, at my core, I am God's."
Wow. So let's hit play on this.
Let's try it. I mean, by the way, this is so funny because whenever I have to listen to here, there's a little bit of latency. So I am reacting to about 10 seconds after you're reacting. But I'm hearing your response and I go, "Oh, here in about a few seconds, I'm going to hear what he liked." It's so funny.
That's awesome. All right, let's
Yeah.
hit the play button.
Awesome. Let's go, baby.
I get hell from the holy rollers. It gets so at my neighborhood bar. I get strength when I find my weakness. I get nothing from the government's dime. Your steeple's high, but I'm still left to go. the government's dime. I'm just a man, but I'm too sure to show. Death has no sting, grace can't keep me down. They keep howling now, howling now. Death has no sting, grace can't keep me down. They keep howling now, howling now.
Oh yeah. That's fire. That's another one that Marilyn Law says she loves this song. Thank you, Miss Marilyn, for watching. Hey, I'm telling you, that song is so fire, called Fire Department. Like you're gonna take several fire trucks to put that fire out.
5 Alarm.
5 Alarm. Man, that's a
Yeah.
good song.
Thanks,
That's a
man.
good message in that song.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
So before we end this show, I'm gonna play one more song, and I'm gonna play you one of Aaron's songs. I want you to tell me what you think
Yes.
of this song. So
Awesome. Sounds
I got
great.
two of his songs in here. It's one called Photo, and I'm gonna play the other one, They Not Like Us, kinda.
Okay.
So this is
Awesome.
track number 8. So
And
tell me what
and
you.
everybody should go check out his new video, Section 8, right?
Yes.
Go check out Aaron's new video, Section 8. And hopefully he put the link. You have my permission, if you got his permission, to put your
Deal.
link in the comments. I think that'd be rad.
Yes, if you got that link, Aaron, post that link to the video, or I can go here on the computer. But this is They Not Like Us.
All right.
Let's get it, bro. Keep on asking who the best inside the city, bro. Guess it's I, don't let's why X the city, bro. I'm in Alton, finna split up all the city folk. Right by STL, not the shy, unless we finna go. Don't like the vision, but I'm finna start dividing. Gotta start subtracting when the lies start multiplying. Gotta put a pause to the commas with a hyphen. Money makes us fall, bro, know it all's more likely. I guess my spirit need a check like it's Nike. There's a hole in one like your boy went golfing. My flow's so sick, I'll put them all in the coffin.
You don't hear that too often. You're a Christian rapper. Aren't you supposed to get along with him?
No, get along with him. Vroom, vroom, get gone with him. Rubber meet the room. Wouldn't burn out on the song with him. Don't want me to get loud? Then you better watch your tone. Make it ring with dialogue. It's gonna sound like the phone hit him. Bah! Guess he didn't need a lecture. Bible break him down. Finna teach, I'm a professor. Now here's what I proclaim. Jesus, he's the king. The name above all names. Let's get with the gang. We stand in our lane. They think I'm a lame. Well, I'm cool with the limp. I'm gonna leave them paralyzed when I get done with this here. I'm trying to set the bar. Finna start calling y'all meteor cause I'm seeing shooting stars. But breaking into this atmosphere is hard. Can't wish upon a star, but I bet you wish you could. Got my hand on the tree cause I wish your brother would.
Cedar, Let's get it understood. Better start calling me Hemi, cause I'm finna pop the hood. I put that on hood. My brothers in no good. I'm talking about the church. Only time that you go is riding in the hearse. I just dug y'all 6 feet. Now here comes the dirt. They keep saying they the best. Lord, forgive me for my pride. Gotta make them weigh that flag, cause I keep hearing them lies. They say they outside, but they really in the crib. Finna start rocking these babies, cause they sleeping on my list. Put them down to sleep. Lay them down on the couch. Make them look just like Jody Wan's put him out the house. Well, I guess it's time to go. We'll turn into Melvin if you don't hit the dough. Gotta hold them on your photo. I got space by the dozen. Make one false move and I know that you bluffing. Solo by myself, like I ain't got no cousins. Did my thing on this beat, and I did it all with no cussing. Screaming, they not like us. They not like us. They not like, kinda. Start looking for themselves, but ain't got nowhere to find them. They've been reaching for the shelf, but the shelf's hidden behind them. Beat the beat so bad, call it disorderly conduct. Fast forward, then rewind. I doubled the entendres. The time on my watch, how long it took to respond. I guess they unconscious. The boys is unresponsive. Hit them with the gospel, wake them up from their nonsense. Got them singing Cali, way in Cali, singing God did. Holding Illinois, but I'm bringing Christ to Compton. Open prison doors, set them free, now they locked in. Red to the bird, at the altar, now they flocking. Red living word to the world, now they mocking. Sling with the stone, get him gone, now they rocking. Now we realize them, defending their poppy. Hey man, somebody tell me don't like Shaq and the Law Twins, man, to go ahead and react to this one. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't from the 314, I'm from the 618.
618.
618. 618. 618.
Woo! When he said the only time you go to church was in a hearse. Woo! That boy got bars for days. He's slapping.
Hey, I gotta work with them for, I mean, not only is it fire, but and I'd love to have him on a podcast for sure. But I'm also from the 618.
Very cool.
My phone number starts at 618, and it's Southern Illinois. It's Southern Illinois number 618.
How cool is that? Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I'm from the 618, baby.
Aaron says,
That's
let's
where that's
go.
where that's where that Gambit Coffee Bar is. It's in the 618, babe.
That's awesome.
West Frankfort, Illinois. About an hour and a half from Alton, Illinois.
Aaron says, bro, for real, 618. There you go. That's it.
618, baby. That's my phone number. When I
That
give
is
you my phone number, you'll see it's a 618 number.
that is so cool. What are the odds of that? And Miss
Well, I'm
Marilyn,
telling you, he gets it.
yeah, Marilyn leaves a heart, and Aaron says, let's work, bro. I'm definitely down to be on a podcast whenever you're ready.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get him down to. Well, I am setting up a studio in West Frankfort, Illinois, so I can get artists there to do podcasts there. So I'll just have him come over there. He can do some he can perform at the coffee bar, and then we'll do a podcast.
Very cool. Very cool. Check it out, Aaron, man.
You're gonna have to come
God's
up.
making
You're gonna
moves.
have to come up from Alabama, do a live version of this podcast.
Hey, that would be epic.
Come to Audio Feed and do something there. Connect with bands there, dude. There are so many bands at Audio Feed that you should connect with.
Really? Okay.
I bet you the guy that runs it now, it used to be run by Jim Eisenminger and Luke Wetchell, and a guy named Jay Newman took it on. But now it's a guy named Kevin Schaefer and his team, and a guy named Ryan Getz. And I'm telling you, man, that's as someone that hosts shows, like you have multiple shows, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you should. And if you care, if this interests you or benefits you at all, and
Sure.
anyone that listens, any radio station or anyone that's listening, if they want to connect with the audio feed, I guarantee they are willing to like work with you to try to get you press passes or discounted price, and you
Wow.
and you can come camp out for the 4 days, and there's band after band after band and all kinds of band speakers, podcasts, do live podcasts from there, artists, there's
Wow.
things for kids. We lost you.
Uh-oh.
There's thing.
I dropped my
There's things. Yeah, you're all right. I got it.
phone.
uh, and it's for the whole family too. It's for the whole family. So
So
it's
that's in
encouraged.
Illinois?
That's in Champaign, Illinois.
Okay, awesome.
Not far from Aaron. Have you
Man,
met
Aaron,
Aaron before, like in person?
never have. He just been on my
Well,
show, I think 3 times now.
yeah.
So
Well,
that is awesome.
also at audio feed, they if you like if you can't get on, they have an impromptu stage that they allow people to sign up every morning to get an opportunity to play a stage called the front porch, and it literally is just a concrete slab with a tent over it. We give you a small PA, and you perform for like a hundred people or so right there in the main walkway. It's pretty cool,
Wow. Aaron says
and you meet so many people that way.
that is awesome. He says that's dope. I can come to Illinois or Texas, either one, but I will email you tonight with my info.
Sounds good. Oh well, Aaron, I'll get to you soon. I get a lot of emails. Not because I'm important, because I have.
Uh-oh. I don't know why it froze. Oh no, why did it freeze? Oh no, why did it freeze, man? Getting to the end of the show, and it's been a really good show. Let me see if I can see if I so see if you can come back in, Joshua. Click the same link and come back in. I'm gonna remove you from the stage and just see if you can come back in. Golly, why did it freeze, man? Can I blame the government? It's the government's fault. Wow, it's been a really good show, y'all. Hope he gets to come back in so we can leave a final closing message. Thank you. Wow, we still got 4 people in here. I did not expect this many people to stay in this show this long. Usually people dip out, and I'm lucky if I got 1 or 2 people at the end of the show. So 4 is pretty cool. Man, I'm glad we made this connection, Aaron. Y'all can uh that is so cool, man. I hope you for real get to go do anything with him. That'd be awesome. Honey Gold Records is his record label. The Youngblood podcast, I believe, is his podcast, and then also Ravenhill. He's the lead singer of Ravenhill, the Christian rock band that I was playing. Aaron says this was very informative, and thanks for the connect, bro. Definitely can't wait to see what God has done with this, man. I'm excited. I hope he gets to come back up, man. Oh, there he is. Well, is he there? Add the stage. There we go.
Hey, we did it. I don't
I
know
don't know
what
what
happened,
happened.
dude. I don't know
Let's
what
see.
happened, but I'm glad
Yeah,
I'm back
Aaron's.
on. You hear me all right?
I'm glad too, because wow, it's yeah. I was telling them I blame the government. It's Biden's fault.
When all else fails, just blame the government, man. It just sounds
That's
punk
right.
rock. Just sounds
That's
punk
right.
rock.
Hey, the government needs to hear about Jesus too.
I mean, what is the government? It's just people. It's just other versions of us. We're supposed to love on them. But
That's
man,
right.
man, I mean, I get it. If you want to circle back real quick, oh, here, what he say real quick? He said when Clifton was on ours, we did 20 minutes of the podcast and realized we didn't record. I forgot that. Yeah, we did do that. We got a good run
Ah,
through. We got a
that's
good
some
run
buzzard
through.
luck right there.
Dude, I tell you, you guys should go check out the his podcast, the Dad Music Podcast. It's a
Awesome.
fun podcast. It's my buddy Jonathan and his son, and they interview. He's like showing him his friends' bands or his favorite bands that he can. I mean, like clearly he's if he could get Dave Grohl, he'd probably get Dave Grohl instead of me.
Oh,
But
that's cool.
yeah, but he gets someone like me that he likes the band and he introduced, and his kid's great. His kid's funny.
That's awesome. So what do you? Okay, so here's a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you call Jesus working out?
He called Jesus Jesus working out? I think as a dad, I should probably know this dad joke. What do you call Jesus working out? I don't know.
Jehovah Fitness.
Oh my God.
If I ever get rich, I'm gonna have me a gym. It's gonna be called Jehovah Fitness, and when you walk in, the back of the gym is a picture of Jesus deadlifting.
Perfect. Give me
Yeah,
one
that's
second.
man. It's been a great show. We got want to thank everybody for watching and sharing, and for those that's watching, don't forget. So I don't know if you've seen or not, but my buddy Cliff and I are doing we're doing a concert soon called Jesus in the Park. Have you heard about that?
I think I saw that. Are you doing like rap and like? I think I saw something on it. Yeah.
So, and maybe next year we can get Aaron on the show. I want to get Aaron on a show down here, but we're already got the full list now, or I hit Aaron up about coming. But we have. So Cliff had this idea. We went to a Christian rap or Christian event last year called
Mm-hmm.
Outreach at the Beach, and Christian rapper Clean Slate Music is he puts it on, and this will be the second year this year, and they do it over here in Gulfport, Mississippi, and they do it on the beach. And I've never been to Gulfport before, but
Uh
they had a car show. And when the car show ended, it was at the pavilion at the beach. So when the car show ended, they had vendors all around the pavilion at the beach. And then they had one Christian rock band called Giving Grace. They were awesome. Then they had a Christian worship band that were pretty much sounded like rock. And then they had the rest of the artists were Christian rap artists like
Okay.
Jimmy Hunt, Redeemed, Clean Slate,
Uh-huh.
ASAP Preach was. Then of course Brian Trejo, he's like the huge headliner. And so after that event was over, it's the most awesome Christian event I've been to. And I go to Winter Jam all the time. And this, to me, this just top Winter Jam. Well, then Cliff went to see them, some of these artists, like Joe Nestor and some of these artists, at a show a few weeks later. And I was at a car show with my truck, and Cliff calls me or whatever the next day, and he's like, "Man, me and Chastity went to this concert here, and man, I felt like God told me to do a to do a Christian rap concert in Grove Hill, and where I live, it's like 1,400 rednecks and other folks live here. It's a small country town." And he's like, "I felt like God told me to do this concert here." I'm like, "Okay." So we got some sponsors. Thankfully, we got some sponsors rolling in, and if anyone wants to sponsor, hit me up or Cliff up. And then we're getting vendors like food vendors and regular vendors. We got so far we have 9 artists, and it'll be like Jimmy Hunt, Redeemed, Clean Slate, J Truth, is it Cody and Allison Murphy, B Radical, and there's somebody else. I can't remember the other on the list, but they'll be here, and I think it's gonna be an awesome time. And we've never done
Sounds
nothing
great.
like this before. And I told Cliff, I said, you know what? We're just a bunch of middle class rednecks up here. We don't have no
Hmm.
big fancy jobs or nothing. But Cliff said, you know what? God told me to do it, and I'm gonna roll with it. So we've been praying about it, promoting it, and getting sponsors. And then if it's the Lord's will, I think it'll happen. And then I'll be doing the car show, and I'm gonna let him do the artist portion of the show, and that'll be after the car show. And so I told him, I said, well, we can do it with my ministry. He's okay, deal. So he's on my ministry team. So I think it'd be
That's
cool.
great, dude. Well, if you do it next year, we'd love to be considered, man. That'd be fun to be a part of.
Oh,
I know
that
we're
would
not
be.
rap, but
Hey, it's Jesus to me, you know.
yeah, man. We'll entertain them and we'll have fun. I'll tell you that. We'll have a lot of fun.
Well, let me ask you this. So, where do people go if they want to book y'all, like your website and
Well, now it all goes through me or one of the members, usually me.
Okay.
You can email that same email, josh@honeygoldrecords.com, or go to any of our social medias. Like I said, you can literally message us on my social media, my personal one. Oh, look, Nick, what's up, dude? Sorry, I had to say hi to
Sure,
my
go ahead.
cousin. Yeah, what's
Well,
up,
hey,
dude? It's
cousin.
good to see you. What's up, cuz? That's a real dude right there, man. I admire that guy.
That's awesome.
Okay, but uh he you can message me on my personal Instagram, and I'll put it on here in the comments later, but it's Facebook or Instagram. Message me. Joshua Clifton Art is what it is on Instagram. Or Honeygold Records or Ravenhill Music, um or the Youngblood Podcast. Any of those places you message me, you'll get to me and we'll figure something out. I'll tell you what I said earlier. I'm not a very good businessman, but I love connecting with people and playing art. So I'll tell you, if you ever think we're too expensive for you to come play whatever event you need us for, that's ridiculous because we are very affordable. We love
That's great.
we love connecting, and so we'll figure it out. We try to figure it out, and if God wants us to come, we're gonna come anyway. It doesn't
That's
matter if
right.
you are just giving us a roof over our head, because we've played plenty of shows where we weren't guaranteed any money or anything, and somewhere along the lines God blessed us and we got taken care of way more than we would have even asked. So I
Wow,
started
that's awesome.
living my life to a point where it's not about the money. I mean, what we should have had was one person about 20 years ago believe in our band enough to be the money, so I could be this artist that just lets God tell them where to go, and they could make
Yeah.
sure the money got put the right way. That's the problem. That's how bands really make it. Is like they have
Yeah.
the two people that work well together to do that.
Well, Russ Lee, the lead singer of New Song, I
Uh-huh.
got to meet him briefly last year at Winter Jam. And if
Uh-huh.
somehow, I seriously doubt he will see this little podcast, but if somehow he sees this, hey, we need to get Ravenhill on Winter Jam next year.
Oh
More
man, that'd be
Christian
great.
rock
I mean,
bands.
you want to hear something funny?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, we were my brother, who's the bass player at Ravenhill, he worked Winter Jam. He's been on Winter Jam. He's
that is
friends.
awesome.
He's tour managed with that crew and everything, so he knows everybody you're talking about. I mean, we we're good friends with. He was in the David Crowder's camp. So
Oh,
my
I
oldest
love me some
son,
David Crowder.
my David Crowder is the real deal, dude. He is
Oh,
awesome.
he's the ultimate redneck. I
He's
mean,
the
he's
he is like, if I could model, if I had to stay, if I felt God had called me to stay only in the Christian market, and I think there are people that are supposed to do that, I would have modeled, if I could model it after anybody's career, it'd have been David Crowder's. I think he's had a
oh,
really cool career.
I would love to meet him. I tell you what,
He's you,
when
you
I
I mean, I sure you will. You will.
oh yeah, hey, when I did because I always do the Jam Pass. Well, now they
Uh-huh.
have a pass that's even bigger than that, which is way up there. But I always do the Jam Pass, and last year I got to finally participate in the Q&A session, and I went up and Russ Lee. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Russ Lee. I'm a huge New Song fan. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I was kind of nerding out. I was like, wow, this is Russ Lee. I'm getting, I was like, wow.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, he said I was the last one to get to ask a question, and
Uh-huh.
I'm sure I bet you I'm the only one that's ever asked this question. But I knew David Crowder was always like the ultimate country boy redneck because he always had an International Harvester hat on,
Yeah.
and his music is like swamp music. It's like Louisiana Bayou swamp music.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I'm gonna ask a question that nobody's ever asked before. And I already kind of knew the answer, but I've never heard him say it, so I just wanted to see what he would say. And I said, hey, do you like hunting or fishing? And he says, hey, Russ, he's got a question. He said, do you like hunting or fishing? He said, oh, yeah, that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked that. Man, I love going deer hunting and I love fishing and this and that. I was like, yes.
That's
That
awesome.
his new single, Grave Robber is no doubt, and we play it on the station. That is my favorite
Yeah.
song of all time by him, except for his song "Run Devil Run." That's a good one.
Oh, that one's a great one, isn't it?
He's like, I
Well,
got something
I
made
think
to
you'll
do.
dig some Ravenhill, some more Ravenhill, the more you dig into it, because our whole record soul, I don't know if you can see that tattoo, but our
Oh,
record
nice.
soul, it is all it's all a little grittier David Crowder. Like what's that record, Prodigal Son, or what
Yep.
is it? Is that the name of the record?
Yeah, I
It's
think
like
so.
very
Yeah, Prodigal
southern. It's
Son.
very southern, right? Yeah,
Yep.
it's that I think you'll dig that.
Aaron says, I actually got to meet and slightly talk to KB this year at Winter Jam
That's great.
and Tony DeShawn. God answered to my prayers. And one night it was, that is so cool. You got to meet KB because I know you're a huge fan of KB and I bet you nerded out meeting him. Excuse me.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
good.
KB.
Yeah, he's KB's cool. I like a lot. I like Andy Mineo. I think Lecrae's great. I think all those guys.
Oh,
NF's great. There's a
KJ5
lot of
too.
good rap. There's a lot of good rap out there. No Big Deal. Have you heard of No Big
Yeah.
Deal?
Yep.
He's great. He's great. And
Oh,
he's actually I met him like he Ravenhill and him played together before, so I met him a while back.
wow.
And so we I mean, like I said, dude, have you heard of Propaganda? Have you heard of him?
I don't think so.
Oh, you should look
I'm
up
surprised I
Propaganda.
haven't because I know a lot of these.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
KJ.
great. He
So
plays audio
K,
feed.
that is awesome.
Mm.
Yeah, with KJ52 being my all-time favorite, his real name is Jonas
AJ52.
Sorrentino,
Yeah.
and he's got a he's got a so a lot of people don't know this, but he's the Christian version of Eminem. In my opinion, he can wrap circles around Eminem and make Eminem look like a baby rapper, and I will go to my grave believing that because
Well, he
he
had
has
that
the
song "Stand," didn't he? With
yes,
that was an answer
and,
to Eminem's
and
song.
what he did the song "Dear Slim," uh,
That's right.
"Dear
That's right.
Dear Slim" Part One and "Dear Slim" Part Two. Because from my understanding, he wrote, I think it was at the MTV Video Awards or something, but he gave Eminem's wife a song that he wrote, and he's like, "Hey, can you give this to Eminem?" Well, she gave it to him, and then Eminem didn't even look at it, just ripped it up, threw it in the trash. And apparently they know each other personally, and Eminem told KJ that he was going to hell. And he was like, and like when he said that, I think from my understanding was he was talking about himself. He really believed he was. And you can
Hmm.
hear it in that song, Dear Slim. It's either Dear Slim 1 or 2. Forgot which one it was. But he says, hey, I'm not trying to paint you as the enemy. I'm just trying to pray for you. And it's so
Yeah.
powerful, like that whole story. But
Well,
like,
he's a definitely like when it comes to Christian rap, he's one of the best, right? He's up there as
and
far as like
and a
at
lot of
least when you talk about godfathers of rap, right? A Christian rap.
yes,
T-Bone
and
is up there too.
and a lot of people don't know this, but KJ has the Guinness World Book of Records for the world's longest freestyle, and he was the captain of Team USA. And I forgot how many hours it was. It was a long, long time, but it's on. You can
Mm,
look it up on Google. But to this, and he's had the record, the Guinness World Book of Records, for like 10 years now, and nobody's beat it. Like
that's amazing.
imagine having a. I mean, he's the freestyle monster. Imagine having a freestyle that long for a song.
Amazing.
I couldn't do it. I mean, and
No,
I'm no
you
singer.
know it.
I'm
Yeah.
no singer. My singing voice is
Well,
got garbage.
I know that um, I know that the guy that ran our record label, Davey Basinger, he knew him. He knew John Rubin really well. Do you know who John Rubin is?
I've heard the name. I don't know him.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those. He was like KJ52 also.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
of that same era too. They were around at the same time. Um,
Oh, that's awesome.
and they're both Christian rappers. They're both clean. Toby Mac. What do you think about Toby Mac?
Oh, I love me some Toby Mac, man. DC
Yeah.
Talk. See, I'm 39, so I can remember when I was a wee little lad back in the early 90s. DC Talk was the thing, and then all the way up to
Yeah.
96. I remember when Jesus Freak came out, it was like,
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know all of DC Talk stuff, dude. Like I grew up on that also, and so
like one of
just
my.
knowing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I got onto it. I got onto it at Jesus is just, or what is it? The record
Jesus
Free at
is
Last.
just all right with
Free at
me.
Last. That album is
Yeah,
whenever I
yeah.
hopped on. Yeah. Well, man, I could go down memory lane with you. We should do this again.
Yes, we should.
I mean, I can tell
Let's
you
see.
about how I know the guy that did the solo on Jesus Freak. I could tell you
So,
uh
I'm a
Mark
massive
Lee
Newsboys
Townsend.
fan,
Oh
and
yeah.
I love the Newsboys. Newsboys, Striper, and Red are my all-time. And then 12 Stones, and I've seen the Newsboys 10 times in concert, and sadly, I saw the news last week where Michael Tate, the
Yeah.
lead singer, said he's stepping
It's
down
leaving.
from the lead singer of Newsboys.
I heard that.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
How you doing?
That cut.
That hurts you? Well, Michael
it.
Tate is one of a kind singer, isn't he?
Oh, and he's from. So I live an hour and 20 something minutes away from Mobile, Alabama, and that's where he
Yeah.
was from. His dad was born in Mobile, and so
Yeah.
every time they play Winter Jam in Mobile, he brings that up. He's like, "Hey, my dad's from Mobile, Alabama. How we doing, Mobile?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's cool."
Yeah. He's a cool dude. He definitely is. He was, man, I never got to see DC Talk live. I got to see Toby Mac. I got to meet Toby Mac and I got to meet his wife. I met his wife with
Oh, that's
Ravenhill.
so cool. That's cool.
But that's whenever I worked. You actually want to, I met her while working at Best Buy in Brentwood, Tennessee, and she came in
Wow.
to buy him a Christmas present. And she goes, my husband is a producer. I want to get him a new set of headphones." And I go, "What kind of headphones is he looking for?" And she goes, the Dre Detox, the Beats by Dre Detox. They were the limited edition, whatever." And
Wow.
I go, "Who's your husband if he's a producer?" She goes, "You probably wouldn't know him is because he's a Christian producer." I go, "Try." And she said, "Toby Mac." I go, his music is only my soundtrack of my middle school, high school." I was like,
That's
I'm
cool.
sung. I was like, I rapped your husband's lyrics, thinking I was the coolest guy in the room. So super sweet, sweetheart of a lady, and she's like a princess in Jamaica, I think, or something.
Wow. Let's
Yeah,
see. Aaron says, "Bro, I love Toby Mac. I didn't know that his group Grits was a Christian group. My uncle played the song
yeah,
for me when I was like 8 years old, and I didn't even know it was a Christian song, but it made a
yeah.
mark on my life for years to come. That's cool."
Yeah, Grits was a real deal
Well,
too. Yeah.
that's cool. Well, we're getting to the end of the show. Is there anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank?
Well, I'd like to thank all you guys for tuning in, and thank you for having me, brother. Like, if you
This has been a
can, like,
super awesome episode.
well, great. I mean, like I do. I hope it shows how much I love connecting with people, and that's what I
Oh,
felt.
yeah.
Ravenhill has always been. Is I don't. I've always said I don't care if 99% of the world doesn't care for Ravenhill. If I can find that 1% that does, I'll be fine. I mean, that's
Oh,
just,
heck
and
yeah.
I had that mindset for a long time. Luckily, I think if given the opportunity, more people than 1% of the population of the world would like it. But you know, right now we're just finding our 1%, and that's cool. And so, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me have a voice on here and let me speak my mind. And sometimes that's on point. Sometimes it's a little convoluted. I don't know, but thanks for
And
letting me
I tell you
connect with your
what,
listeners.
if y'all ever go live on your Facebook, let me know and I'll watch it and share it. And then we are adding those two songs that I played tonight on Quake Radio's rotation. So the cool thing about
Awesome.
Quake
Thanks,
is
dude.
we do Christian worship music in the morning because I'm
Hmm.
not a big fan of K-Love. I am just not. They play the same old sappy stuff, and they don't give Christian rock artists a chance. So but now we do play Christian worship music because I love some of that too. I love me some Michael David Smith, Stephen Curtis
Hmm.
Chapman, Tom
Yeah.
Golly.
All
Oh,
that
we
stuff.
play
Yeah. All
that,
that stuff's good.
and then it ends, and then when that ends about 9 or 10 o'clock, we start playing your underground Christian rap music. Like we got Aaron's music on there, and
Hmm.
then we mix in the worship with Christian rock. And so all three of those are mixed throughout the day. I got a bunch of Christian rock in that mixture. And then at night, we have another show we do called Midnight Mayhem. And Midnight Mayhem plays from midnight all the way till the morning, which is super awesome. So I'm going to add it to that rotation too. And then
Oh,
JT
please. Thank you.
Clegg, JT, I think was in here earlier. He's going to be doing a rock show pretty soon called Facing the Giants, I think is what he calls it. And when he gets his show going, he'll probably play some of y'all stuff too. So,
And we'd love to be a
I
guest on that show if he let us have be on it.
oh
I'd love
yes,
to. My first
and
job was a radio DJ on an
really,
oldies radio station and a country radio station
that is so
in
awesome.
Illinois. In the 618, baby. I was the DJ when I was 16.
The 618, that is so cool. And I love my country music too.
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
real
That's I picked
country.
up a guitar. I picked up a guitar because of country music. I
Wow, that
saw an
is so
Alan
cool.
Jackson concert at a rodeo in Texas, and he sang "Chasing That Neon Rainbow," and I go, "Yeah,
He's my second favorite. Like my all-time favorite is Hank Jr. and then Alan Jackson and Frank Foster are tied for second. The
amazing." My favorite country artists are Johnny Cash, and then probably
Man in Black.
then after that it would have to be oh golly, Hank Senior, and
Oh,
then Bob Wills, man. Bob Wills is king, man, in Texas.
oh,
And
like that
and
song
my
says.
grandpa, my grandpa produced his records, Bob Wills records. So my grandpa
That
was a
is so
Texas
cool.
playboy and then went to produce it. So I to me, Bob Wills king, man. So
Hey, just ask. Well, you can't ask him no more. But Waylon Jennings, he used to sing about it. Bob Wills is still the
yeah,
king.
yeah, he is.
That's cool. So you wanna say a prayer to pray
I'd
the
love
show out?
to. Yeah, yeah. All right. Thanks, dude. You can get all this long hair and ruling. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for what you're doing. Um, I would never pretend to know the mind of God, but man, I wanna. And so I just pray that you give us words of wisdom as we go out through our week, we go throughout our days, and uh, let us know you a little more. I hope this fellowship and this conversation wasn't completely useless, and that people felt you and your love and that agape, unconditional love. I pray that that is felt even through a radio signal, through a YouTube video, through a Facebook Live, or through some silly songs that I wrote, Father. I just thank you so much for using us, connecting us, loving us far more than we deserve. And I just pray wherever art and lifting your name meet, that you lead us there and you constantly remove ourselves out of it. I pray you bless those that are listening today, and I pray that you keep supporting uh, this program and this radio station and all those and even that festival coming up. And I even lift up audio feed and everyone that's going to get connected through there. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. What a great
Amen.
show. Thanks for watching,
Jeez.
Aaron. And been
Yeah.
a super great show. And wow, we still got 5 people watching. I did not know that we would have this many people. Because
Well,
wow,
let's try to make that 10 next time.
let's do it. We'll set the
Yeah.
bar high. We're gonna kick butt and take names.
Sounds good, dude. Well,
See
dude,
y'all
thank you so
later.
much for having me.
All right. Let's see. Let me hit end stream.